very relevant. Very relevant in this modern era, where ChatGPT, Cloud, you can name them, Copilot, you can name all those things, generative AI tools that are out there that students are using. So it's very important that we hold the academic integrity in the use of AI. So that question is actually very important. We're going to try to answer the question as we go in the next slides. So in this era that is dominated by the use of artificial intelligence or by the use of generative AI tools, academic integrity means upholding honesty, originality, and accountability, while responsibly integrating AI tools into learning and research. It's very important for us to underline the word responsibly integrating, responsible. In other words, the word responsible here, I mean the ethical use of generative AI tools in learning and research, which is going to be our main focus. We're going to be talking about how can we use the AI in research ethically. How can we use AI in literature review search, in literature review writing, in brainstorming, in data science, all that stuff. We're going to be talking more on that. Academic integrity should also or must it must involve transparency, critical engagement, ethical consideration, authenticity, and institutional support. We are going to talk about all these elements: transparency. You can talk about critical engagement. We're going to talk about ethical consideration, which is the center of all this presentation. It's about ethical use of AI. Let's talk about transparency. What are we talking? What do we understand by transparency when you're talking of transparency in the use of AI? We are saying whenever you use AI, for whatever reason that you have used AI, you need to declare that I have used AI, or you need to cite that I have used AI, and you need to do it with the proper citation according to the requirements of your department, according to the requirements of the university. If you're using Harvard, you need to make sure that you use Harvard. If you're using APA or Chicago, whatever citation tool that you're using, you need to do it properly, cite it so that people, they actually know that you have actually used the AI. Then institution, this is actually a very important point. Institution must come out with policies that enhances and support transparency in the use of AI. In one of the videos, I reported a study that said that studied top 500 universities, and less than a third of those universities had the policies on the use of AI, which is actually a sign that universities are actually lagging behind. But if you check in those studies that I have been showing, the students studies are reporting as much as or as high as 93% of students using AI. Yet universities are not regulating that AI. So part of the students being dishonest, I think, is also caused by the universities that are taking too long to regulate the technology. Then AI is one of the fastest technologies, in the history of mankind, and resisting the technology is not going to pay off. We can't stand resisting the technology when students are actually using the technology. When students are using the technology for assignment, they're using the technology for thesis, they're using the technology for actually everything. For the examination, they're using this to prepare examinations, etc., etc. Then critical engagement. What do I mean by critical engagement? We are saying when you are using AI or use AI outputs as an aid for thinking, not as a substitute for thinking. Most people, they don't want now to think. They want AI to do everything for them, and one of the reason is most students, they leave their assignment to the last day, to the last minute. So as a result, when they're doing the assignment, they just take the assignment, throw it on AI, let the AI write for them, and they just take and put it for marking. And the copying and pasting in a way is actually an academic academic dishonesty. That's plagiarism, and this is not an ethical use of AI. So we need students that appreciate the use of AI, but student that does not plagiarize, that does not steal, or that does not practice an act of academic dishonesty. So also when you are working with AI, it's very important for you to double check the articles or the scholars, the years, the pages that AI gives you. One of the main reasons is AI is very good at fabricating scholars, and that's most students, they don't even know that AI can fabricate scholars. They just take whatever AI gave them, put them in their studies, let the lecturers mark. Unfortunately, that is an act of dishonest that we don't want. We want you to make use of AI, but we still want you to be in control of your study. Some scholars are actually advocating for 70-30. In other words, they're saying 70% should be human effort, 70% is your effort, and 30% is IA. Let AA do 30% of your work, and you should do 70% of your work. But I also advocate for 80-20. I think if you can achieve 80-20, that will be great for you. Try to make sure that 80% of what is in your paper, it's your work, and the 20% is from the AI tools, and that will be a very good use of AI. Then ethical use. Avoid plagiarism. Don't take things from ChatGPT, from Cloud, there are so many of these, from DeepSeek, and pretend as if it's you wrote those sentences, those beautiful sentences, but it's actually those generative AI tools. So please avoid that by citing them in the proper way. Then avoid also data manipulation. People goes on the chat GPT, they create their data, they create data, they create so many scripts there, and pretend as if they went and collected the data, but chat GPT, that's not an ethical way of using these AI tools. Then avoid using unverified content. Most of the AI is very important. It's very good at lying as well, creating stories, creating things that does not exist. So you need to make sure that every time, whenever AI gave you the content, you need to verify to check whether it's real. This information is not being fabricated. Acknowledge and cite all AI-assisted work. That's very important. I use all AI tools to enhance, not replace, critical thinking and creativity. Most of the students, the biggest mistake that we are now doing is AI has replaced our critical thinking. AI have replaced our creativity. We want to see you in your study. We want to hear your voice. We want to see an argument. You don't want to hear an argument of a machine. We want to hear your argument. You want to it's actually very important that you don't allow the machine to replace your critical thinking, your creativity. Then it's also very important for us to respect the intellectual property and data private laws, especially when we are using these tools. Ensure fairness and avoid biases when interpreting AI generated insight. That's very important, and something for us to take note, that our arguments should always be balancing, and we should always avoid that biases. Maintaining accountability for the final product. If we have used the chat, let's acknowledge that we have used the chat, and we also need to make sure that we verify all the findings or all the writings against the credible sources or academic sources. This is very important. Then authenticity, what are we talking about? We are saying we need to ensure, or you must ensure your work reflects the view of the participants. Don't fabricate the findings, which most students are now doing. They're now lazy to go out there and they just simply fabricate the results. And that work is not reflecting the views of the participant. So it's very important that your work should be authentic, should reflect the views of the participant. Most important, you need to develop original ideas and personal perspective. Don't take ideas from chat as yours. You need to develop your own ideas, your own original ideas. It's not a problem to have chat helping you, but you can't go and type things on chat and get those ideas and you claim those ideas are yours. Come with your own ideas and go to chat and you have chat to help you to fine tune those ideas or those perspective. That is ethical than you to do the vice versa. You go to chat, you get chat what chat says, and you claim it's yours. That's not an ethical use of AI. Your work should also reflect critical thinking rather than AI generated work. We talked about that, and make sure you can defend your work. That's very important. Most students they use chat in such a way that when they are called to defend their thesis, they can't defend the thesis because they don't know what they wrote, because chat was actually writing everything for them, and they were just taking and pasting without even reading, without even making sense, without even verifying, without even acknowledging. It's really a pity. Last is very important for you to declare IA assistant where applicable. And I know when universities are not open with that, then it's difficult on your side for you to acknowledge. But I think it's good for us to start acknowledging that I have used AI to do my work. If they are to punish you, but at least you have acknowledged that I've used it. Maybe with that we are pushing universities to start regulating the use of AI, so that student does not cheat and student also use it in an ethical way. Then it comes as to the institutional support. This is actually very important, that universities must update policies on AI usage. Resisting AI is not going to work in this era. In this era, AI is not going to stop. It's just gonna go and go. It's like COVID-19. For us to stop it, we needed an antivirus. We needed a vaccine for us to stop it. So for us to stop the unethical use of AI, we need also a university to make sure that they come out with policies that encourage the use of AI ethically. That is going to help universities. That's going to help students. And you're going to see that the use of AI or cheating is actually going to be less. Then we need to develop clear guidelines on ethical use in teaching, learning, and research. We talked about that. Teaching train academic staff to identify and appropriately manage AI-assisted work. So how does the lecturers know? And it's unfortunate that most of the lecturers they are anti-technology, especially those who were in the teaching field before technology came into play. They are actually anti technology, but we need now to go back and say, let's teach all the academic staff on how to identify a work that has been written by AI. There are so many ways that you can see how that this work has been written by AI. I will be showing you all that as we go. We need also to establish AI integrity committees at a university level to monitor emerging challenges or emerging technologies, emerging trends in AI. So it's very important that we actually have AI integrity committees set in universities to make sure that we monitor that. Then integrate AI ethic models in all academic discipline. And I was talking to one of the, he's actually a very, known chartered accountant, and he was actually talking about the use of AI in accounting, and he was actually very worried because he does not know how AI works, and I actually told that person that the problem is not only you, but even universities themselves. AI has dominated the industry in terms of accounting, but they are still busy producing accounting that does not know how to use the AI in accounts. So that's actually the interesting part. So universities are always behind the technology. So it's very important that universities, they integrate ethics modules into academic, or AI ethics modules into the academic discipline. The way they just introduce the academic writing in the in the undergrad, we also need to make sure that we integrate AI ethics model. Then we need to promote transparency in assessment design to discourage AI misuse. Let's bring in AI in the assessment. Let's bring it in. Let's not take it out. Let's bring it in. Let's tell students, use AI, but you use it in this way. If you don't use it this way, we penalize you. So it's very important that we do that. Then we also invest in plagiarism and the AI detection tools, just to maintain academic standards. And the universities are very good at criticizing the private organization for coming out with with tools like AI. But these people, we need to understand that they are there to make money. So if they see a gap to make money, they have to make money. But universities, they need to invest in tools like in AI detection tools. They need to. Why are they not doing that? We have got the personnel, and most of the people that are actually developing these tools for the private organization, they're actually academics. They're actually in universities. These are the people that are bringing those minds. These are the people that have got all these ideas. So that why are we not investing in tools, in plagiarism tools? Why are we not investing in AI detection tools, so that we maintain the academic standard? Ensure equitable access to AI tools, so no one is disadvantaged. We need to make sure that if we are to allow the use of AI, let's just make sure that even those who are in the disadvantaged areas of the country, of the continent, they also have good access to the technology. So the importance of academic integrity with the use of AI, it protects the credibility of your research. So you need to make sure that you maintain that integrity, so that if you have got some researches that are out there, you protect the integrity of your research. Research only has value if others can trust its originality and accuracy. So upholding integrity ensures findings are respected and relied on. So maintaining credibility, protecting your standing as a scholar. You as a scholar, if you are a researcher, you have got some publications and you don't find people who ask you to review, then you also need to ask yourself, you need to question your standing as a scholar at some time. That is your study out there, is it credible? Is it standing as a credible source? Once accused of plagiarism or misconduct and all other stuff, these are actually labels that takes long time to go. Prevent plagiarism. In the United Kingdom, this is another study. Recent study shows that 7,000 confirmed cases of AI-related cheating in 2023-2024 among university students. So there's 7,000 in 2024. That's a big number. Unfortunately, universities, they still think that firing the students is gonna, firing the students, whatever is gonna work. That's not gonna work. What's gonna work is to make sure that we integrate the use of AI in academic, and we put policies, we put the we put some guidelines on how it must be used. Maintain originality and trust. So it's very important that researchers or research should make sure that the originality of their studies uphold, and other scholars, they trust their studies. So it's very important. The significance of academic integrity when you're using AI is actually significant. It's very important that we observe that. Yes, it's actually very difficult to talk about. I know it's a debate, it's a big debate to talk about academic integrity in the era dominated by AI. But it's very important that if you want your work to stand out as credible out there, if you want your work to be trusted out there, if you want your standing as a scholar to be recognized, you also need to make sure that if you are to use AI,